News at 10.
2 women are recovering at the hospital tonight after falling over an embankment this evening. Good evening. I'm Jennifer Abreu. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. The incident happened around 5 p.m. at Scenic Overlook on Y Highway in Forsyth. The Central Taney County Fire Department tells us a 36-year-old woman and a 16-year-old were sightseeing and went beyond the guardrail, which is about 350 feet from the water's edge. Water rescue assisted to bring the women back to safety. The 16-year-old was taken to the hospital by ambulance, and the 36-year-old was transported by helicopter. We're told she is in moderate condition. In other news tonight, if you're feeling extra tired, depressed, or just sad for no reason recently, you may be experiencing symptoms of seasonal affective disorder. With more than 3 million cases in the U.S. every year, you may have seasonal affective disorder without knowing it. Frances Lynn spoke to a clinical psychologist about this and the dean of students at OTC, who explains how it can affect students' performance in the classroom.
Students have enough stressors as it is, but typically around October, midterms are coming up. Also, just with the colder weather, less sunshine.
OTC's Assistant Dean of Students, Andrew Goodall, says it is harder for students to go to class during the colder months.
We do see an increase in appointments to the counseling center. A lot of students are seeking resources, assistance to try to cope with these increased stressors and how they're feeling.
Our college students, they might wake up and they might walk to class outside, but if it's cold, they're walking as quick as they can. They don't hang out and linger in the courtyards as much as they normally might.
Clinical psychologist Dr. Curtis Matson says SAD symptoms are very similar to any other type of depression.
Problems with, fatigue and having trouble sleeping and appetite changes, loss of interest in activities.
Anything from lethargy to decreased appetite to inactivity, loss of interest in activities.
The lack of exposure to sunlight actually reduces serotonin.
Serotonin is a chemical that contributes to well-being, otherwise known as the happy chemical.
You wake up in the morning, you go to work and it's dark. You work inside all day and you leave to go back home and it's dark, and so people go entire days and they haven't been exposed to the sun, and so we do know that does affect serotonin production in some people.
They shared some ideas to get through the depressive season.
Light therapy, where students can use different mechanisms to increase the light in their home during the cold, dark winter and fall months, as well as letting more light into their living spaces.
Part of depression is when you're less active and you're oversleeping and you're just kind of laying around not doing things. Part of that behavior change can be just getting out and doing more things.
Increased activity and socialization, if that's something that students find refreshing and reviving to them.
That was our Frances Lynn reporting. There are several local resources that can help if you think you may have SAD. For a list of those resources, visit our website. That's ozarksfirst.com. In political coverage tonight, people are now reporting that engaging in politics, whether it be online, reading the news, or having a friend with opposite views, is actually hurting both their physical and mental health. KOLR 10's Madison Heaver has more on that story for us tonight. Madison, what is this about?
Yeah, Jen, according to a study released last week, 1 in 10 people say politics hurt their physical health. They're saying they've lost sleep over politics, causing fatigue, and even a small percentage reported feeling suicidal. I went out and talked to some people in downtown Springfield to see what they thought and if they believed politics affected their health. According to a study released last week, about 11% of people said politics hurt their physical health, even if only a little bit.
Hearing about that study, I'm not surprised.
This is Alec. We stopped him on a street in downtown Springfield. While he says politics doesn't impact his health, he says he's seen it affect his friends.
No, I don't think it's shocking. I see it all the time. I feel like a lot of people I know can be affected mentally and emotionally by politics.
While politics hasn't impacted Alec, it has impacted Cassie.
It definitely has affected my mental health. I have an anxiety disorder, and it definitely has made everything kind of go overboard with it.
Hayden, a college student, says he's also seen it impact people's health.
I don't know, it's kind of stressful because you kind of get thrown at different sides of political, so you don't know what side to follow. So I guess I could see how I mean, you don't really know what to do, what to choose, or what's right. So you see how that could be stressful for someone.
Both Alec and Cassie agree. They told us they believe the problem stems from the U.S.'s longstanding tradition of the two-party system.
There's two-party systems, and having two parties is the best number of parties to have the most conflict between people. They'll always be against each other. There's no taking sides. You're either on that side or the other side. People get very emotional about that because you kind of have to pick one side.
I think they are currently, but maybe they shouldn't be. I feel like more people should stop and look at the big picture situation instead of having this us versus them sort of mentality, and start looking at what can we do to fix all of this and make everybody's quality of life a little bit better. For more people to get more of a bipartisan view of things in our country, and have more people work together.
In the study, about 20% of people said differences in political views have damaged friendships that they valued.
All right, Madison, thanks. Great story tonight. Well, new at 10, a man has been charged in connection to numerous car fires and a house fire in a Springfield neighborhood earlier this month. 34-year-old Cody Linder is now facing first-degree arson and 2 counts of knowingly burning. The news leader reports a probable cause statement states police believe Linder set 2 car fires and a house fire back on October 2nd. And an additional 3 car fires and another fire at the same home on Ildering Street 10 days later on October 12th. Linder was allegedly identified as a possible suspect due to his personal connection to residents of the home. 2 witnesses also identified Linder in a photo lineup. A warrant has been issued for his arrest. First-degree arson carries a sentence of up to 15 years in prison. Around the Ozarks tonight. And that's the sound of autocross in the Ozarks. If cars are your passion and you want to test your driving skills in a safe way, the Autocross Solo Series is your speed. Just about anyone with any car is welcome to compete with others across the Ozarks, even with your friends. One of the event organizers shared the benefits with us earlier today.
It's a great opportunity for drivers to push themselves and their vehicles to the limit in a safe, controlled environment. And another benefit of the sport is that it's really good for teaching drivers car control skills, where they learn how to catch a slide and things like that may provide beneficial in emergency driving situations on the street.
Now, if you missed today's event and are interested in trying this out, you'll have to wait for them to come back to Springfield next year. But Autocross organization will have a final event in Neosho coming up on November 10th. And making news now, with temperatures getting cooler this fall, that means it's the perfect time to cozy up with a good book. Some across the Ozarks might be planning on doing just that with books they just bought today at the library's biannual book sale. The Friends of the Library sale wrapped up just a few hours ago, and today bags were being filled with books and the price tag $5 or less.
The better books are $5 a bag, and the other books are $1 a bag, and I'd like to come away with as many as he will allow me to get out with. Right. And it supports the library. Libraries are important for people everywhere, and if we stop caring about books, then we stop learning.
If you missed the fall book sale, you just have to wait a few months. You can buy new books at the spring book sale in 2020. Also happening locally tonight, Ozark Public Broadcasting's annual wine and food celebration. Restaurants from around the Ozarks had the opportunity to show off their best wines, beers, and cocktails, along with some food samples, and all for a good cause. Take a look.
So what this is doing is providing a lot of kids in the area with access to high quality educational programming, things like our favorites that we all grew up on.
All of the proceeds will pay for educational kids programming on the Ozarks Public Television channel. Let's check in with meteorologist Beth Finello now. Are storms already moving into the Ozarks, Beth?
Right now things are quiet, but that line is slowly approaching the state line through Kansas and Oklahoma and into Missouri. Right now, again, things are quiet, but through the overnight hours, we are going to see a line of showers and storms come through with the potential for some severe weather for everybody in the Ozarks. We'll do timing and modes of severe weather right after the break. Cody Warren.